You mentioned that they are thinking about tax cuts in the future as well, whether we look at families or companies. In the past, the TISZA party has been drafting tax plans, which the party itself officially denies. But why would the TISZA party be interested in raising taxes?
Well, there is a fundamental dispute in Hungarian public life, which I have been observing and living for 35 years. There has always been a direction, both among economists in the world of economists and in the world of parties, who basically want higher taxes. They have always hated the one key tax. I do not know how much they have paid for it. They want to be co-economists. So they want to take money from companies and people and then redistribute it according to the principles of fairness. This is the philosophy. I do not share this. I belong to another school, and I say that the best economic policy is the policy of low taxes. This can be easy to calculate. If you earn 10 times more, pay 10 times more taxes, and then we are quits. You have fulfilled your obligation to the majority of the Hungarian community, because everyone has to pay a certain amount, otherwise nothing works, which meets the common needs of the public order and the public transport. You have to pay a certain amount, but it has to be low. Do not involve people in this. If they decide what to do with their money, when the state wants to decide, they have to do it. This is typical of Hungary. This is the case in every country. We have a good economic policy, which leaves people with money, power, and a desire to move. People live and do what they think is right. This is the first reason. TISZA's father belongs to an old school. His name is Lajos Bokros, and his name is György Soranyi. This is a well-known school. But there is another reason. They want to take more money from people. This is a Brussels proposal. The TISZA party is a Brussels project. It was created in Brussels. I was told that it was created by a friend of Brussels and now a friend of Ukraine. They want the money to go to Ukraine. There is no money. They want to give money to Ukraine because they want to win the war against the Russians on the front line. They need money for that. They have several ideas. One of them is to take more money from Hungarians and send it to Ukraine. The TISZA party is a friend of Ukraine. It is a Brussels project. It would be in the government. But since there is no money, it cannot take the money from Hungarians.
The government's position on the issue of debt is very clear. Despite this, they started a national consultation. What do they expect from the consultation? What do they offer to Hungarians?
In the next weeks, there will be a huge pressure in Hungary and Brussels to join the EU-Ukraine partnership and to support Ukraine with more money. Hungary does not want this. The Hungarian government does not want this either. We do not want to take more money from Hungarians, and we do not want to send more money to Brussels or Ukraine. This is a big international war. The government needs support for this. That is why the consultation reinforces the national goals of the government. On the other hand, after the TISZA party and the DK party think and say that they do not want to talk about these issues and do not want to reveal their plans before the elections. They say that if they do not want to talk about this, they will lose the elections. They say that if they win the elections, they do not want to talk about this. This means that the most important issue will be remained in the sand. It is not good. It is good if people see it clearly. Then they will decide. If they decide, then the rose will be cut out of the sand. This is the result of the elections, and it is not only the wife's choice.
Other plans were also made public by the TISZA party. For example, the rethinking of hospital beds or schools, or the conservative opinion on the rich. What do you think these statements refer to, which, by the way, were made in a closed circle?
Well, it's about different natural things. Again, I take back the debates of the past 35 years. There has always been a debate about what to do with Hungarian agriculture. And there has always been a point of reference. These were, of course, invented by fluster boys, so-called Budapest inner-city boys, that agriculture belongs to the past, it is not modern, it is a really serious national economy, it is more about industry or service, and the whole region, and this village, which is a surviving form of life, needs to step beyond these. This has always been the case. This program, this idea has always been there, but it is just a piece of paper. And that is why, as a continuation of this tradition, the left says that Hungarian agriculture cannot compete with Ukraine. That's what they say. I just quoted what I heard. And that's why it's better to leave Hungarian agriculture to the Ukrainians rather than to deal with it. This is a complete misunderstanding of Hungarian history and spirit. Hungary has no agricultural economy. Hungary has no farmers. Hungary has no countryside. Hungary has no village. Even if sometimes it seems that we would exist without the inner-city people. But this is not the case. Hungary is one big, organized unity. We need everyone, including the fluster boys, but we also need our farmers. We don't give up anything. We have to protect Hungarian agriculture. And there is a serious threat to Hungarian agriculture from the Ukrainian side. And if I were to take up Ukraine, which we are trying to prevent, in that case, Hungarian agriculture would face challenges that could really affect hundreds of thousands of farmers before the collapse. The other issue is the closure of hospitals and schools. This has always been the case. We are talking about the hermits of Bockros. They have always thought that we need major reforms, that our educational system is not efficient enough, that we need to change our healthcare system, and that means that they will start closing schools, hospitals, and so on. I have been fighting for 15 years for a good quality education for every family in Hungary, for their children, and if someone gets sick or their health breaks down, they should be provided with good quality healthcare. So we don't need to close schools, we need to strengthen them, especially county hospitals. I see that county hospitals are being forced to close because there are 7 major regional hospitals. This is a completely different healthcare system than ours. This takes people away from healthcare. If I don't count Budapest, we need 18 very strong county hospitals. We have been building this for 11 years now.
Not only recordings, but also data was leaked from TISZA last week. The party denied this for days, but in the end they admitted it. But they think that you, or the government, supported them. How clear do we see in this case?
We see
and what
it
does the
very
information
clearly.
show?
Although we don't see it, we don't hear it. In Hungary, there are debates in politics that seem to be about the same issues. Others say what they think, in their own way, in their own voice. The Ukrainians don't leave much doubt. They say that they want to bring Europe into the war. Hungary is one obstacle to this. The Ukrainians say that they want to join NATO, while the US president won. I hope this will be over soon. The Ukrainians don't joke. They say that they want to join the EU. Hungary doesn't want this. The Ukrainians say that they need money. They need money for the army. They can't support their own countries. They can't pay their pensions, so they need money. Give us money. This is also an obstacle. They call it Hungary. The Ukrainians say that they want a change of government in Hungary. Brussels and Ukraine are cooperating in this. There should be a change of government in Hungary instead of a national government, a Brussels-Ukraine-friendly government. Let's help those who want to create a government like this in Hungary. The fate of the Ukrainians and the fate of the EU and Brussels will turn to the right. I doubt that the fate of the EU will turn to the right. The Hungarians will turn to the wrong side. I am convinced of this. The Ukrainians are actively working for a change of government in Hungary. Their secret services here. We are following them. They are part of the Hungarian intellectual community. They are part of the Hungarian consultative world. They are part of the Hungarian political debate. And they have a party. They will do everything to help the TISZA party. They help them with everything. For example, they provide technological assistance. In modern politics, digital access is a key issue. They help them with this. For example, they develop skills necessary for a successful election campaign. We Hungarians cannot say anything else, but we used to say that the Russians are already in. The spice, now we have to say that the Ukrainians are already in the smartphone.
What are the risks of this? What are the risks for those who have access to the data? What are the risks for the national security?
It is not by accident that every country protects its most sensitive data. If they know a lot about it, they can use it in a simple way. Therefore, neither personal data nor important data from the national security point of view should be given to any other country. This is a good reason. We should not do this either. We are on this issue. If someone goes beyond the legal framework, the Hungarian state will also act for the sake of national security. I am sorry for the TISZA party, whose data is now in the hands of Ukraine. I hope they will not have a personal problem with this.
Regarding the TISZA party, it can be said that the European Parliament did not give up the right to save Hungary. Many representatives have argued that the political initiative is misplaced in Hungary. In your opinion, he is a biased person. What are the motivations of the decision of Brussels?
First of all, those who know Hungary, we Hungarians know it, are good at it. In this country, everyone says what he wants. If we talk about politics, it is obvious that he does what he wants. He can also demand help from Ukraine and Brussels. To say that in Hungary, anyone is persecuted for his opinion or political activity is not only a far-fetched nonsense, but also a stupid thing. It is an absolute lack of real knowledge. This is not a political issue. It is a constitutional issue. It is about theft and embezzlement. Interestingly, if so much money and energy has been invested in the TISZA party, Brussels does not want to lose its investment. If they have to give their people in a legal process, it reduces the chances of winning the next election. That is why they run after their money. Whatever the TISZA and the president do, they will never lose their rights. This is the line through which they can move. Why would they do this? They invested a lot of money and energy to finally have a Brussels party in Hungary. This is what is happening. I think this is a disgrace. This is an abomination of all European politics. But there is a problem in Europe, and there is a great power struggle in Brussels. The Hungarian party, the Hungarian Prime Minister, and the Hungarian government have a significant role in the power struggle in Brussels. This is why we are in such a fragile world.
European values are here, but Brussels does not have the right. What is the message of this?
It is clear that Europe is in trouble. But what are we talking about? We are talking about an Italian woman and her few friends. These people are sickly. They are aggressive and aggressive. They have a crazy idea about how to live together among people. This is unacceptable. They thought that the clothes on the left and the right were made to look like this. I do not know how they thought about this, but this is their problem. They attacked Hungarians on the streets with iron bars and all kinds of weapons. We, of course, supported this. Of course, we are hunting them down one by one, because it is impossible to attack Hungarians in Hungary with a common ideology. We also have a German man, and there is also a debate about this. We identified this Italian woman, and she was in Hungary for a while. But then, with the Italian left gave her a European mandate in the European elections. She became a parliamentary representative in Brussels, and the leftists in Brussels do not give her a Hungarian passport, because she is also their dog. This is why we cannot satisfy the demands of the current legitimacy. If you come from Hungary, you cannot hurt Hungarians. But sooner or later, we will gain an advantage in the case of the Italian and the German.